Do you know Jack? Jack John Trice was born in the small town of Hiram, Ohio, just southeast of Cleveland. While he sadly lost his life at the beginning of his collegiate career, his time on this earth shaped the history of college football. This is the story of Iowa State's Jack Trice and how his short life helped shape the university's identity and college football history. John Trice, better known as Jack Trice, was born in 1902. Early in Jack's life, he moved to Cleveland with his relatives as his mother believed his small town was too sheltered. He excelled early on in his life with athletics. Of course, this mainly being football at East Technical High School in Cleveland. He was a big and successful tackle under powerhouse coach at the time, Sam Williman, who played at Ohio State. When it was time for Williman to move on to the next big thing in the small town of Ames, Trice and his fellow teammates from his high school followed. Before even starting college, Trice was married to his sweetheart, who stayed in Ohio as he went on to Iowa State. Jack arrived in Ames in early 1922. With a future degree in animal husbandry, Jack's after-college plans were to head south to help out black farmers. Trice was only one of 20 black students at Iowa State. Only a year after starting on the varsity line at 6 feet and 215 pounds, Trice played early on against Missouri Valley School Simpson College. Due to this time in American history, many colleges forfeited games due to Trice's race. In fact, one newspaper even referred to Trice as one of the best tackles in the conference that year with his performance at Simpson College. Trice's next game found him in Minnesota. It is here in Minnesota where his life drastically changes and shortly ends afterwards. Prior to the game, Trice can be found in his room at his hotel, as he couldn't even eat with his own teammates due to laws at the time. He can be found in his room ready for his first big varsity game. On October 5th of 1923, Jack wrote a letter that shaped his legacy and paved the way for Iowa State athletics and cemented himself in college football history. The letter read as this: "To whom it may concern, my thoughts just before the first real college game of my life, the honor of my race, family, and self are at stake. Everyone is expecting me to do big things. I will." On October 6th of 1923, Iowa State took on Minnesota with its crowd and competitive program. Jack was eager to play. Trice was hurting early on in the game, but fought through the pain. On a run play to get past the defense, Trice attempted to roll out of a block. However, he fell hard on his back, breaking his collarbone, but he refused to leave the game. Trice was later taken to the university hospital and was dismissed shortly after. Iowa State lost the game to Minnesota 20-17. In excruciating pain, Trice headed home on a train with his teammates and died of internal bleeding 2 days after the game. He was only 21. Jack's history shortly lost its luster in the following years of his death. People simply saw it as an accident. But it saw a huge resurgence in the 50s and 70s with civil rights movements across the nation. Students uncovered a commitment plaque for Trice in 1973. These students pleaded to name the new stadium being built in Jack's honor to no avail. Due to the persistence of fans, however, Iowa State's football stadium was named Jack Trice Stadium in 1997. Trice's legacy is strong within Ames and within the university. His letters has cemented itself in tradition and with history with just two simple words: I will. Today, scholarship programs are named after Jack, and two statues of this pioneer can be found on the campus, one of which can be found amongst the student body of Iowa State, and another can be found outside the stadium that bears his name. Looking back on Jack's short life, it's amazing to see how his story has continued to this day. I'm sure that in his hotel room the night before the game of his life, he didn't know just how far his story and his letter would go. As he even wrote in his letter, I will, he most certainly did.